To drill our glides onto our drawer box, we're going to use a self-centering bit, or otherwise known as a VIX bit. It simply has a bushing with a smaller diameter drill bit that comes through. So we'll use this to drill our pilot holes for our number 7 screws. The glides that we're going to be using are what we call epoxy coated side mount glides, and they come in a set of 4 different components. The 2 parts with the flared ends here, these will attach to the inside of the cabinet box, the main carcass of the cabinet. So we don't need to install these on the drawer box. We'll save these for the next step. The angled pieces, which have the angle on the profile, will be mounted on the bottom of the drawer box and to the side. So they will mount in such a fashion that the wheels will go to the back of the drawer box, and the front, we want the profile of the glide to be flush at the front. If the drawer sticks beyond the length of the glide, that's okay. If it's shorter than the length of the glide, that's also okay. These glides don't necessarily have to have an exact depth of drawer box. We will, when we install them, we'll see how they do not extend as a full extension drawer. They only come out about 3/4 of the way, so part of the inside of the drawer box will still be in the cabinet, but that is the way these glides are designed. Flush your glides up at the front of the drawer box, and we'll drill 3 holes, okay, where the indents are of our profile. I'm holding my glide in place, and I'm going to drill here, here, and here. I just need 3 screws. I don't recommend using the side holes in the glides because the drawer glides tend to bind on those screw holes as you're operating them. So only put the screws in the bottom of the drawer glide. And there's our drawer box, ready to install. We're now ready to mount the second part of our drawer glide to our cabinet box. There's a left hand and a right hand version. The wheel should go facing down, and it will go inside just like that. Wheel down, screw holes up. This is a special tool that will help us locate and keep our glides perpendicular to our drawer box. The way this glide works is it has a spring-loaded clamp here. Your profile with the wheel goes toward the handle and facing in, and that clamp simply holds it in place like that. This is the right-hand side. The left-hand side mounts to the other side of the jig, like so. We'll use our jig and insert the glide in like that. The handle of the jig should be flat against the front edge of the box. We'll drill pilot holes to locate our screw holes, and then we'll screw it to the side of our cabinet. You'll notice I've laid my cabinet down on its side so I can just simply lay my glide and drill. When you're drilling your holes, be sure to drill the larger diameter holes so that you can countersink the screw head as far as possible. The screw heads are what bind on these particular glides, and so you want to minimize that effect by choosing the largest holes. Now ready to set our drawer front and attach it to our drawer box. Our drawer front is going to sit right like that with an 1/8 inch gap, or what we call a reveal, between the door and the drawer. One trick you can use to gauge that distance is just take a framing square. The thickness of a framing square is just about 1/8 of an inch, so you can kind of fit that right in between there. What we're going to do is we want to locate two points on our drawer where we want to put screws through the inside of the drawer box into the back of the drawer front. So I'm just going to locate about 1 inch in either side on the inside of the drawer box, here and here, and then up from the bottom of the bottom of the drawer, we measure this. About 2 inches would be about right. That would put us more or less in the center of our drawer box. So we're going to measure up from the bottom. Here's our drawer. We'll measure up from the bottom 2 inches. 2 inches from the bottom of the drawer to the center of our hole that we're going to drill. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drill a Forstner bit flat bottom hole into the back of our drawer front to accept a grommet. We want to set our 20 millimeter Forstner bit in our drill press, and then we want to adjust the stops so that we just barely miss the table, because we don't want to drill all the way through our drawer front. And now we'll simply drill our Forstner bit into the back side of our drawer. Precision isn't really critical at this point. Within 1/8 of an inch of your center point is acceptable. We're now going to take some dowel locators and install them in the back of the drawer front in the holes that we drilled. If the points of the dowel locator are back from the face of the drawer, you want to lift those up. So I'll pull my dowel locators out and I'll put in a cabinet bumper on the back side of my dowel locator just to raise it up a little bit, and then put it back in there. And that should get my point beyond the face of my drawer. So now I'm going to mock up my drawer front with my 1/8 inch spacer, which is my framing square. I'm going to align the two edges of my drawer. And then I'm just going to give it a light tap. And what that does now is make an indentation on my drawer box to indicate where to drill my pilot hole for the screw that'll go through the drawer box. Now we'll use a 3/16 drill bit to drill through our drawer box. concentric grommet on the back of our door. The grommet should have ribs or barbs that should point up towards you as you're pounding it into the back face of the drawer. That'll help keep it tight and from pulling out of the back of the drawer. And then you can just take a scrap block piece of wood and pound them in. The other way to tell that you have the right face out is there's two little circles on the top of the correct side of our little grommet. So we have our grommets now installed in the back face of our drawer front. Find the 832 thread machine screws. They should be about 1 inch long. And if you just try to screw those into the grommets, they should screw in freely. Take your drawer box and put the screw from the inside facing to the outside of the drawer box, like that. And then if you take a Phillips or even a straight head screwdriver, we will screw the drawer box to the back of our drawer front. Get it just hand tight, hand snug to start. And we'll close our drawer front. And if we look at it right now, we can see we've got the gap is not quite straight. These grommets have a concentric inner part to it that we can micro adjust. So let's just do that. We'll pull what we want to do is raise this side of the drawer up just a little and lower this side down a little. So if we pull our drawer box out, we can just pry up a little, pry down a little, put it back in place, and we can even just kind of tap it. If we need to go side to side, we can go side to side a little. So we just want to get that so it's a nice consistent 1/8 inch reveal. We should also have a little bit of an offset from the top of our cabinet box here, and a consistent reveal from the top of our box. Our countertop, if we imagine this is our countertop, will protrude slightly, and we want to make sure we have a gap between the bottom of our countertop and the top of our drawer front as well. The other thing we'll do is we'll use some set screws, which have a very coarse pointed thread, a wood thread with a broad head, with a truss head. We'll install these screws after we've set the cabinet, adjusted all the fronts, and we're happy with the final installed product. We'll use these set screws to lock the drawer front in place.